Talk and Power, your motorsport and motoring radio show. Now on 88.5 FM, The Valley Comes Alive. And podcasting across iTunes and talkandpower.com.au.
Welcome back to Talk and Power, episode 229. I am your host, Michelle Morrison, and joining me, as always, is Simon Gonzo Trevellini and Nick DeCibre. How are we going, boys?
You look very comfortable there, Michelle.
Yes, very relaxed.
Very comfortable.
You know, public holiday yesterday, I'm just going to lounge it out now.
I can't even see you, Simon. It's like these
Yeah.
pillows.
Pillows.
You don't have to get...
Well,
Have you guys made a pillow fort between you there? I mean, what's happened? Did you have a tiff on the way here or something? Don't touch him.
This is how Nicole and I sleep.
This is like what I have to build up between the girls after 6 weeks of school holiday.
Might move that for a second.
Yeah.
Put that there.
Chuck it out. That is all good.
The guys were saying that they put them in because the couches were so big.
They are. This is quite cozy. We are back in the Emerald Room recording
we are back
today.
here. It's nice to be back here.
Fantastic.
Back in Balcatta.
Studio in Balcatta. That's right. We
The
were
Hoon
last
capital of
year.
the world.
Yes. We are.
Are you just claiming every town that you go into, every suburb? as
No,
the
it
Hoon
was
capital?
our original slogan.
your-
It was the
Right.
original. There's some shirts floating about with that.
I thought that was
Yes.
the Camboon. The Camboon was your Hoon capital.
Camboon?
Was that the...
Camboon Road Warriors.
Yeah.
You heard of them?
Fruin...
No.
Oh,
no.
not
Should
sure.
I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that something that we should reference?
Maybe not.
No.
No, with our previous recording space
Yeah.
in Malaga. But we were last recording here when we had Wade Onger
Yes, we
visiting. So
correct.
that was...
I think that's back in
Correct.
May.
It was May.
So long ago.
The time has flown.
It has.
Well, let's kick it off with some news headlines. It is official. Austin Prock was formally introduced last week as the driver of the Tascar Racing Quick Lane Motorcraft PPG Ford Mustang Dark Horse, one of the most high-profile moves of the off-season and the centrepiece of a reshuffled funny car landscape. This has been massive news, Prock said as he addressed members of the media on Tuesday. My family wanted to continue racing together and this was the opportunity we had. Bob Tascar offered to bring the whole family together and we took the gig.
We have been speculating about this for weeks, but we didn't really want to say anything until it was set in stone.
Official.
Yeah, we got a little bit lost there with whether actually anything had been announced or whether it was just a heavy circulated rumour.
But it's only a one-car deal?
Yes, yeah.
So Bob
Tascar said, there was only one person he'd get out of the car for, and that's Austin Prock. But it's interesting here about it saying offered to bring the whole family together. Was that the only option? Is that a reason for leaving John Force Racing?
Well, I don't think that's why they left, but I think it just put a bit of...
Bob Tascar, the original Bob Tascar.
His grandfather
was a great man and did amazing things for drag racing and for supported so many drag races. But it just shows you the disdain that Bob Tascar III has for John Force, that he would step out of the car just to beat him.
Yeah.
It's also a bit interesting. They've branded this car a Dark Horse as well, because the Dark Horse is now being re-released again in the US with a supercharged model in 2026.
Yep.
So,
Well, it should have been supercharged from the get-go.
yeah.
So
the originals were naturally aspirated, but
Correct.
the latest ones will be supercharged.
But they need
release date in Australia yet.
They need something to compete against the Hellcat and the like. So anyway, moving on.
Well, we don't have long to wait until the NHRA season's kicking off. Only another, 5 weeks or so?
Soon.
5 weeks until Gainesville?
It's the Gators.
Gator Nationals?
Yeah,
Absolutely. Now, in other news, Willowbank Raceway and IHRA, that's the International Hot Rod Association, have extended their partnership for another 10 years, solidifying sanctioning, safety standards and international pathways for Australian races. With IHRA also stepping in as a naming rights sponsor, the agreement signals long-term stability and growth at one of Australia's cornerstone venues.
And more on the IHRA.
Will come.
Okay, surely.
A lot more.
The Australian Automobile Association, AAA, is encouraging the federal government to review and strengthen its road safety strategy after new data highlighted ongoing concerns about the national road toll. As the peak body representing Australia's motoring clubs and more than 10 million members, the AAA notes that the national road toll has risen for 5 consecutive years, something not seen since 1952. Last year saw 22 more fatalities, and in 2024, a 1.7% increase, with the rate remaining at 4.8 deaths per 100,000 people. Australia's 3 largest states all recorded higher fatality numbers, while Tasmania experienced a particularly significant rise of 41.9%, with 13 additional deaths and the second highest fatality rate at 7.6 per 100,000 residents.
So double demerits and lowering speed limits worked really well.
I think we all know that doesn't work, Son. I think we all know that.
Education.
100%, and like this is a real big problem in Australia. I think the media underplays the road toll to a certain extent, and the fact that we've increased 5 consecutive years in a row, which is the first time ever since 1952, I think it's a massive problem in Australia.
Well, it's interesting to point out, and I'm not suggesting that this is the reason, but if you follow the increase with the increase in immigration, seems to be
probably tracks in the same direction.
Tracks,
and I have to say, I was thinking the same, and particularly because it was a few episodes now that we released the new information of the licensing
new testing,
regulations and passing your license for overseas license holders. It's not going to be a simple process as it once was. Which you think that might lower the number, but for the AAA to be encouraging the federal government to bring in some more strategies, we'll have to see what else they can.
Isn't it funny that
suggest.
This is how long Labor's been in power too?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a bit of coincidence there.
Yeah.
Just, not suggesting that while Labor's in government we have a higher road toll. Wouldn't want to make that connection. Anyway.
Well, we'll see what they come up with, some new safety strategies.
Just on that point, you guys drive around a bit during the day. I know you do. Mm-hmm. How often do you see police cars on the road?
Oh, not often enough. Nowhere near often
Yourself?
No.
It is a real, like from when we were kids to now, it is incredible. They're stuck doing paperwork.
I also feel like around my area where I live, there used to be frequent like booze bus stops, and I haven't seen one in ages.
Oh, they still
maybe
target.
I just don't go out as much anymore. That's probably a part of it as well.
That strip of Alexander Drive.
Yep, Alexander
they
Drive,
still
Beach Road. They would frequently be in the even Marangaroo.
Yeah.
Cut off there, and it's just I don't feel like I've passed one in a very long time.
But Perth has grown quite a bit too.
Yeah, more area and space.
Yeah, because I mean, pretty much where we are used to be like the end of civilization in the old days, didn't it?
Now they've extended Hepburn.
Yeah,
it's joined two worlds together.
When we were kids, it was kind of where the Reed is.
Yeah,
end of Morley, and then you were into Market Gardens, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, yes.
I'm also interested to comment. The one thing I've noticed is when we do see a police car, it's always a Ranger now. Ranger with used to call them divvies, divisional cars. So the panel vans, divvies.
Is that what divvy means?
Yeah.
So, there you go. You learn something new every day.
So now they're Ford Rangers. I really don't think they're a suitable police car. I really don't. I think they're a great work car, but I don't think they're a suitable police car. I really don't. For getting around, a lot of those guys have to get around to domestic disturbances with those vehicles. And I just think that's not the right vehicle for that kind of work.
What part of?
Are they the turbo diesel? Are they the?
Yeah, they are, but they're not an ideal vehicle to be doing that sort of work with.
But then you can just run a curb and you don't even need a driveway.
There's so many other vehicles we could.
But then I look on the other side.
What about a Toyota Land Cruiser?
Oh, geez. I mean, that might blow the budget a bit.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I don't think there's much in it anymore.
What?
I mean, when
does it matter?
We bought the last work ute. So we had the Mitsubishi before that because that was the best deal. I think they were like 19, 20 grand with a tray on it.
Yeah.
Because it's just a delivery ute.
Yeah.
It's going to do 500,000 Ks and then get traded in. And this time around, I said to Nicole, we're probably going to have to look at some Chinese thing.
Yeah.
And, I don't really want to go down that road because it being in the industry, I hear so many horror stories. But it turned out to be the Toyota Hilux was the cheapest, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that blows my mind, yeah.
I thought for sure that would be the most expensive because Toyota's quality.
Yeah,
it's a
absolutely.
quality product. But yeah, so I don't think there's that much difference now between like a Land Cruiser base model and you get a Prado, not a
maybe a Prado, but they need to be put into more suitable vehicles than a Ranger. Rangers are fine if we're moving people that have been arrested around and getting them back. But some of these police officers are first responders, and especially with the increase in domestic violence, they are not the adequate vehicle to be getting them to at a hastened rate to an emergency of some description. I don't think they're the right car.
Do you think the Land Cruiser would be better, though?
Oh, yeah. 100%. Especially the 300s.
Yeah, the 300's fast.
Yeah.
It is fast.
And we're talking about jumping curbs and that sort of thing. Perfect car.
Yeah.
Perfect vehicle. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents worth. That's probably not going to...
Well,
I don't know how
Shout
we
out
got on
to
that
Toyota.
subject.
To Toyota.
try your luck.
Proudly brought to you.
So, Nick, tell me, what have you been up to lately?
I had a busy couple of weeks, actually. I organised a bit of a car show down at Scarborough. You didn't come down.
I didn't know it was on.
Oh, you got a text message.
I was just about to ask you before we started recording when the next one is.
Did you get a text message? I sent a text message out to all members. Anyway, that was awesome. We had 52 cars down in Scarborough a couple of weeks ago on Sunday. That was pretty awesome. It was quite nice.
When is the
turnout.
next?
The next one will be 15th, whatever the Sunday is, the 15th of February, back at the Odin. So.
Yeah.
And also went to the A&E Car Collective this Sunday, actually.
Yeah.
They gave away the Mercedes AMG GDS.
So was the money or the car?
Good question, Simon. Very good question.
Why is it always 100,000?
Well, it was 120 this time. It was 120, and the guy, they asked his wife and 2 kids what he should take. Believe it or not, I was surprised. The 2 kids said, "Take the cash, Dad." But the wife said, "No, take the car." And being a good man, he listened to his wife and took the car.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's weird.
So congratulations to Nerman.
See how society's changing?
Yeah.
It would be hard. It would be a really hard decision to make.
But the kids saying take the cash, what's with that?
Well, that's a sign of where we're at, Simon.
Well, maybe the kids don't
there's
around
a-
the cars that much.
Exactly.
I feel like my girls would say the car.
Of course.
If it was pink.
One of my kids would say the car, the other one would say, "Can we get a Lego?
yeah.
Can we
Take
get
the Lego.
Yeah, 100 grand's worth of Lego."
Or just that one box.
It was interesting that both kids said take the cash.
Yeah, how old were
crazy.
they?
Probably 8 and 12.
Wow.
One girl, one boy. But they both said take the
Right.
cash. But anyway, he listened to his wife and took the car. So
I wonder if there was a Bitcoin option there. The kids would take the Bitcoin.
The
You'd
Minecraft credit.
If you got 120K, you'd want to go and buy gold with us straight away.
and it was tax-free too, the cash. So
Yeah.
You see it's over 5,000 an ounce now, US.
No.
it's all the US dollar went up today as well. Or Australian dollar.
Australian
What's
dollar.
that?
Yeah, it's 69 now.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's the
That's
highest
a-
it's been for quite a while.
It's like a 4% jump.
I was pretty happy with
Wow.
that.
Well,
Yeah.
hopefully Trump will invade Iran and it'll go even higher.
That's
Well, it seems to be what happens.
see what happens over there. There's a lot of.
I don't think I
That's
can
what I've
even
been up to anyway.
What?
I don't think I can even comment. You've had some strange wishful thinking today.
What about yourself, Michelle? What's been happening?
I'm just really taking in some quality time with the girls while it's school holidays, and we made the decision not to travel to Sydney after all, which we were contemplating before Christmas time, whether to head over to Sydney for the Masters, seeing as my car is housed over there for the time being. So, yeah, just really trying to spend some quality time because Cleo's in pre-primary next year, so she'll be
wow.
full-time. And so, yeah, it's been really nice. Long weekend, so Trent had some extra time at home too, but cooler couple of days until the heat wave starts come Thursday, and then off to school on Monday, and I'll be at home.
Trent not go to the cricket?
He did.
Oh, I was going to say,
He did go
I'd
to
be
the
very
cricket.
surprised if he didn't go.
Yes, yeah, he went to the cricket. Scorchers had a relatively easy win in the
Yeah,
end.
it was pretty cruisy for them, I'd say.
Yeah.
Didn't they thrash him?
Yeah, I think there was still like 15 balls left or something like that. Yeah.
Whacked a 6 on the last, to get them home, they needed 6 runs. Still, and got a 6, so yeah.
Yeah, but I think just to be there and to be amongst the atmosphere, he actually took the girls the weekend before, and that was their first time going to the cricket. But we used to go quite a bit back before we had kids and at the WACA. But yeah, I haven't been to Big Bash at Optus Stadium yet. But he said that it was really good. Record crowd.
Yeah, 55,000.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And the weather was much more pleasant opposed to last Tuesday, was it, when they had the semis and it was like 40 degrees.
But it did rain this weekend, didn't it?
It was a little bit of drizzle at the game, I think. There was a little bit, because Steve Smith was crying a little bit about the rain, and that was Sunday night.
Yeah, and it did rain a little bit yesterday as well at home, because I told the girls they couldn't go in the pool, and that they weren't very happy with that.
They weren't happy?
But I washed their hair on Sunday thinking I've got a couple of days until they'll be back in the pool again. And Claire said, but we want to go for a swim in the rain like we did last time. And when they did that, when it was last raining, was actually the cricket was on that day as well, and it was that 40-degree day. That
rained a lot, but that day.
Yeah, and I said it was raining, but it was still hot that day. We can't just swim because it's raining.
Kids don't feel temperature for some reason.
No, they don't. And it was like 3:30 or 4 o'clock or something like that. And I was like, it's going to be cold. It'll be freezing. They would go in every second of the day, but they've got blonde curly hair, and the chlorine's not good for curls. And so I'm like, just give it a couple days rest. We're hitting 35 come Thursday, and up to 30, 38 or something over the weekend. And so I said, give it a break. But apart from that, yeah, not much else. What about you, Simon?
I put the XY back together.
Oh,
yeah.
Watch out.
Yeah. And the kids were fighting like they normally do. And I said, stay away from the car. And Nicholas ran by, tripped over some wiring that I had laid out. Didn't fall or anything. And I said, this is why, stay away from the car. So Peter did exactly the same thing, got tangled up in the wiring, and the O2 sensor that was on the end of the wire came around and whacked the fender.
Oh.
So I'm not talking to Peter at the moment.
Ouch.
Yeah.
On the corner too? Or
Nah, smack in the middle, about this far above the stripe. Nice, 20, like that would be 26, 27 years old, that paint job, yeah. 99, 2000, somewhere around there was when it got painted. Richie.
Even before that, I think.
Maybe.
When he painted that, yeah.
Yes. Anyway, it is what it is. But
yeah, it's hard. You want them to be around. You want them to be learning and to be invested in having the same interests and hobbies. But then there's
Nicholas wants to always help. He's
yeah.
And while you've got his attention, he's good. Like tonight before coming here, that's why I was late. We're bolting the seats back in, and so this will come out on. When will this come out? Tomorrow.
Probably tomorrow or Thursday.
Tomorrow. Well, I won't say anything then, because he might hear it on the way. But yeah, he's invested while he's concentrating.
Yeah.
But his concentration span is very short.
Yeah.
And when his brother's, running amok, Peter doesn't care. Peter's not interested in cars. He wants to do his Lego. So that was I had planned this all out. We're going to get this done this long weekend. I'm not going to go to work. I'm going to do this. Saturday, the fighting starts. And
only started on Saturday. Geez, 6 weeks into school holidays. You're doing pretty good.
Yeah, So, and it was over the Lego. So the decision was made. Nicholas was going to forfeit what wasn't assembled and give it to Peter. Right? So that way we can clean Nicholas's room. We don't have to worry about tripping over Lego anymore and stuff. Well, Peter is very meticulous in how he does things. So he wanted to divide everything up into colours and into blocks, which I said to him, well, that makes sense. You're going to be able to build stuff from the instructions in. So after about 50 trips to Bunnings to get the little, compartment things, he's got it down pat. But that was all of Saturday gone and part of Sunday.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking at the car going, I made a promise that I was going to get this done. Nicole went out Saturday night. Sunday, she went, I don't know, she went somewhere. I don't know if it was shopping or whatever. So Monday was my last chance.
Yeah.
And I just said, please, just leave me alone. Just let me get it done. It's wiring. I hate doing wiring. So after all of that, how, the original idea was to fix that rat's nest under the dash. I think I made it worse. I'm pretty sure it looks worse now than when I started.
It's gone backwards.
Yeah, but it started. It ran. So there's two sensors, because I made my own logger years ago.
Yeah.
So there's two sensors that aren't working. So I went and bought two new potentiometers. So like a race pack linear potentiometer is like, I don't know, $4 million.
Oh, we spoke
something,
about
right?
this.
Yeah, so I've got $7
right?
trim pots
Yeah.
from J-Car. So yeah, I've got to solder two more of those in. So I'll bring it into work and finish it there. But it starts. I can move it.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
Well,
So
you didn't break anything then.
except for that dent and the
Yes.
scratch. But anyway,
I
it is
scratched it as well, did it? So
yeah, it scratched it right near the stripe, so it's not really even. You can't even touch it up. It is what it is. So, what are you going to do,
Race
kids? Yeah. But I should be able to get to some club events now.
Oh, cool.
I've got wheels.
We've got a bit coming up, actually, so
Yeah.
look forward to seeing it.
All right. What do you want to talk about next?
You can take on the next one, Simon.
Or do you want to do the results from
Let's go into that. Yeah.
ANDRA?
Yes. So it was a big weekend of drag racing on the East Coast with the ANDRA Drag Racing Masters in Sydney, and there was also the series opener for the NDRC calendar for top alcohol and sportsmen. Starting off with news from ANDRA on January 24th, which was Saturday, the Australian National Drag Racing Association made a much anticipated return to Sydney Dragway with the inaugural ANDRA Drag Racing Masters. More than 150 races across Australia competed in one-day high-stake event featuring over $70,000 in cash and prizes across a range of classes including Door Slammer, Pro Mod, Extreme Motorcycle, Pro Stock and ANDRA Regional Sportsman Championship. Group 1 winners, we had NASA Matter for Door Slammer, and I got a little bit confused and mixed up with that because did you guys see that Ronnie Palumbo was driving for
Yes.
the Matter brothers? Right, so he was in Pino's old Door
Yeah.
Slammer, right, which I actually thought that NASA drove that one. He did. And I'm not sure whether they just switched for this event because Salim
They've
wasn't
got
racing.
3 cars, I believe, or possibly 4.
Right. So do they usually kind of switch between the two, or is that a new thing, or was that just because Salim was out? Because NASA was driving Salim's and then Ronnie Palumbo was driving NASA's. Anyway, it confused me because they paired up against each other in the second round, and it was saying, for Ronnie to defeat, is he going to, defeat
Team
NASA? And I'm
orders.
thinking, hang on a second, but isn't he? That is NASA, so I got confused all with that. So NASA Matter took the win. In Pro Mod, it was Joe Gucci with runner-up Carl Cox. In Extreme Motorcycle, it was Alex Borg with runner-up Ryan Franks. And Pro Stock, it was Thomas Leake, who won after Darryl Stevens abandoned his final run. For the ANDRA Sportsman Championship, so this event also served as the 7th round for the ANDRA Regional Sportsman Championship. And our winners were Eliza Harris for Junior Drag Bike, Zane Condello in Junior Dragster, Jack Matazevic in Super Street, Gareth Wilcox in Modified Bike, Sean Mayer in Super Sedan, Fiona Crisp for Modified, Michael Richards in Competition Bike, Josh Boscovich in Top Sportsman, Shane Kramer in Supercharged Outlaws, Luke Cartledge in Supercomp, and Jason Wilson for Super Gas. So the final for the Sportsman Championship will be held on April 18th, which is at Dragway at the Bend in Tailem Bend.
Yeah, so the McCluers, who were there racing, they had a really unlucky weekend. Casey had some ignition issues and kind of made it to the semis, but there was an oil leak, so he got shut down, and ironically, the other competitor timed out, so it was a solo in the final.
Yeah, Luke Hartledge had the solo in the final there, which isn't a way to win, but I have to
Win's
say,
a win.
got to take it sometimes. But a huge effort for Luke Hartledge and his partner Adriana. They actually went straight from this event on Saturday, drove then to Willowbank to compete in the NDRC event that was held over the same weekend.
So that was doable.
Well, they sacrificed their other qualifying passes, just got to Willowbank in time to do one qualifier and enter in on one qualifier.
Oh,
so,
that is crazy.
That's an 8-hour drive, and
8?
8 hours from Sydney to Willowbank.
Is it 8?
About 8, yeah.
I thought it was like 10. 10, 11.
I'm not sure why I had 8 in my mind. That came pretty quickly, but I might be wrong.
But still, that's a hell of a, that's drive all night. And
yeah, and I'm trying to think what time ANDRA had said that it finished up. I think the second round of Door Slammer was at 7:40, so they wouldn't have finished. They wouldn't have finished till probably 10 o'clock or something. You know, if they stayed for the presentations, which it was
grab
decent
the trophy.
prize
Thank
money,
you,
so
see ya.
want to. And then off they go. But I just thought that was, that's a huge effort for them. Come the NDRC event at Willowbank. So as I said, this was their season opener for the 2026 season. We've mentioned before that NDRC has gone to a calendar year. They had 170 competitors with almost 150 sportsman races.
So, but the ANDRA event still had a lot of entries, didn't it?
Yeah, so the ANDRA event still had 150.
So that's not bad, really, when you look at it that way.
It isn't bad at all, but your mind can't help but go to think what it could have been if it was on separate weekends. And this is the thing, because ANDRA was their 7th round for sportsman races, a lot of those cars had already invested heavily into ANDRA because the NDRC finished up for sportsmen at the Winter Nationals. So there'd been no NDRC events for 6 months. So they invest their time into travelling for the ANDRA Regional Series, and then it comes to the 7th round, which, it only got added in mid-December, added into the calendar, and then they think, do we sacrifice a round of NDRC or do we keep competing in the ANDRA that we've already done potentially 6 rounds for? It was Adriana. I know that before this event, she was sitting 3rd in the points for the ANDRA series. So, and I don't think that they did Northern Territory. I'm not sure where the other 2 above, but you don't want to sacrifice that. You don't want to miss out on that. So to see,
especially if you've got a couple of good, events, you know what I mean? Like if you got the points in the bag, then it makes sense to pursue it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Because it's 300 points max now, isn't it?
300 points max for both NDRC and for ANDRA. So, yeah, I'm not too sure how many points she was sitting on, but you want to get as close to that as you can before heading into the final.
Yeah.
The whole structure was a lot better when it was just one governing body, because we'd all meet at, it was the Australian Nationals at one stage, and then it became the Winters, and that's where it'd get decided. Now it's a bit, fragmented with the 2.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's been fragmented for over 10 years now. With that, it's
since Milosevic died.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it was. Well, that was 2016, I believe.
So 10 years.
Yeah, it's it really just baffles me why ANDRA selected that same weekend to run it. The NDRC calendar had been out well before. I don't know why you'd make that decision.
I mean, you do have Speedway guys running ANDRA now.
I mean, like if we're gonna talk like V8's booking on the same day as the Jamboree, do you think the V8 supercar guys are even looking at the Jamboree calendars? Probably not. But do you think that the ANDRA guys are looking at the NDRC calendar? Yeah, pretty sure they would be, particularly because some of the NDRC events are sanctioned by ANDRA as well.
I don't know. I think
it just doesn't make sense.
Well, he's ex-Speedway, so he's probably looking at the Speedway events.
So make it on the same weekend as Warrnambool.
That's right, exactly. That logic doesn't hold there because it was on a
because for ANDRA it was a free viewing on their Facebook Live, so you didn't have to pay Flow Racing or Clay Per View to watch Warrnambool.
Maybe it was the only time they could dry hire the track.
Yeah,
I mean, with the next...
Because that's what it was.
If they wanted an ANDRA round, with the next ANDRA Sportsman round not being until the 18th of April, that's a bit hard to believe too.
Don't know. You would have to ask. What's the guy's name? The CEO?
Tim McAvaney.
Tim McAvaney.
Well...
Yeah, I don't know.
It sounds like a cricketer's name.
It's a question that was in my mind for weeks. Didn't bring it up on the podcast.
Wasn't there a Bruce McAvaney?
Yeah, I don't think it's any relation.
No relation,
but they're both from South Australia, so maybe. But
was he a cricketer?
Who, Tim?
Bruce?
No, I don't know what Bruce's credentials are.
Well, how do I know the name?
He's a commentator on Channel 7. Was former.
For
did the Olympics.
Oh,
Channel
okay.
7, footy.
Yeah.
Olympics. All sorts of sports. So
there you go.
It is an interesting question, one that we don't know the answer to, unfortunately.
Not sure.
Yeah.
Not sure. Well, back on track for the NDRC event at Willowbank. Some day one highlights. They actually had Nitro Funny Car come out, which wasn't originally on their calendar. I'm not sure whether it was points for them or whether it was whether that was part of their points, because originally it was just saying top alcohol and sportsman for that round.
Yep.
But on Saturday, just some highlights. Damon Patton beat Adam Murray by a narrow margin in an early session, and Maurice McMillan defeated Justin Walsh in another pairing. Daniel Reid recorded the quickest and fastest pro alcohol pass of the round, and Shane Phillips narrowly defeated Ben Bray in a fan favourite pairing, which it was really great to see Ben Bray back in the driver's seat. Unfortunately, come Sunday, midway through eliminations, severe weather conditions, including unprecedented strong winds, rain and lightning, forced organisers to halt the competitions. Gazebos were destroyed and unsafe conditions prevailed, leading to the decision to call the event before it could be completed.
When they finally called it, it was just ridiculous. Like,
yeah.
I was watching it thinking, maybe you should have called it like an hour ago.
It was, I mean, they had some really hot weather conditions earlier in the day, and then they were actually speaking, the commentators mentioned like a mini cyclone that we had earlier. They were like, oh, I hope everyone's learnt their lesson with their umbrellas, this mini cyclone that they had. But looking towards the start line, I suppose, as if you were on the TV, to the left you've got the seats, and usually there would be like corporate tents behind.
Yeah.
They didn't have the tents this year. They had probably like 8 really gigantic umbrellas that you usually see by the pool, and the wind kept those up. One's gone over the hill.
It was hilarious.
Like it's heading for the car park. But you know, it rained a bit, and then they waited for the rain to stop, and then just as the rain stopped, the wind just
it was
came
unbelievable. The banners were just torn to shreds.
They kept the live feed going, but it was not good, was it?
They changed the angle on the camera once the umbrellas started going over, but commentators announced for everyone to come down from the grandstands and move away from the grandstands, and I was like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
But you know, is that tropical Queensland for you? Is that Queensland weather? I don't know if we've ever. I certainly haven't experienced it at Willowbank in the winter for the Winter Nationals. But
it's more October-ish, isn't it? I thought that sort of weather event was more October.
It's Australia. Growing up, we used to have cyclones all the time. It wasn't a big deal. You get home and look, where's the veranda
In
ended
Perth?
up? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Our veranda ended up on top of the people across the road's house.
Yeah, right.
It was, everyone makes a big deal about it now.
I remember that little one that went through
70s.
Morley a few years ago.
It was pretty common,
Well, in the end, NDRC, they awarded Nitro Funny Car and Pro Alcohol competitors 6 championship points, and the sportsman racers received championship points up to the stage where their race concluded. Now, because of the delays, I wasn't looking along with the schedule to see whether they moved things around to bring ones up. But I was talking with Adriana Cartledge, and as mentioned, they did the big drive. They only got to run first round. I messaged her saying like, oh, huge effort. You must feel so defeated after that. I don't know why they didn't have Monday as a backup. But public holiday on Monday and they didn't use it. But with saying that, I've been in Queensland before.
We don't do it in Australia. I don't know why. It's something that needs to change.
I've been there in Queensland before for the winters when it's been a public holiday, then on the Monday, and they don't. I'm not sure whether it comes down to staff payments, volunteers,
possibly, yeah,
anything like that. But then they had 40 degrees in Brisbane on Monday coming after that event. So the next NDRC event is the Twilight Nationals in Mildura. So that was the mystery round, which got then announced for Mildura for the end of February, which will have Top Fuel heading back to Mildura, which has been a long time coming as well, I believe.
It has. I always like Top Fuel in Mildura.
Well, that's home track for the Lamatinas, I believe. And I think also Darren Morgan, who's been showing his face a little bit more after he's been out of the seat for a long time, but he's been seen at the tracks a little bit and posting a few little snips and hints, teasers, should we say, on Facebook. Don't know exactly what he's getting back into, but it looks like there might be something in the pipeline. We will see.
Yep.
I'm only speculating from little glimpses of Facebook, but I think it's warranted speculation.
Yep.
And the US Streetcar Nationals were held on the weekend as well.
Oh, what an awesome event. Did you catch any of this?
Was it 400s? The whole field?
Yeah, basically, the whole field. Yeah, it's on the back page.
Oh, it's on the back page.
It's on the back page, but there was a whole field. It was the first ever 32-car field that was 350s.
350s,
so 3 555.
Was it 70 entrants for the
400s?
Yep.
32 cars.
But for qualifying, there was like 70 cars or something.
Oh,
right?
yeah. There always is.
Yeah.
There always is.
And then having it as 32 cars.
400s.
That
400s.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
It was an awesome. It looked to be an awesome event. Once again, the US Streetcar Nationals. It was the first time ever 350 32-car field. Top qualifier was Jimmy Taylor with a 355, and the bump was Mike Bowman with a 3 Bowman, sorry, with a 59 and the 6.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I met Mike. Really nice
cars.
guy.
Oh, yeah?
Really nice guy, yeah.
And Jimmy Taylor, he's the one that's got the record at the moment, is that right?
That's correct, yeah. He went out in the first round, bud. He went out in the first round against Eric. So it was, again, the chip draw. So it was number 1 going up against number 4. And Eric Gustafson pulled him.
Is Eric Gustafson, has he got the late model Mustang?
No, white 69 Camaro.
Oh, 69, okay.
Yep. So he pulled Jimmy Taylor. Jimmy looked to me in the first round, staging still, because he's still relatively new in that car, isn't he? I mean, I think he's only done a few events with it. Seemed to be relatively new in the car. Had it up in pre-stage. Still hadn't staged the car. Then, as he brought the RPM down again, then it went into full stage. Got caught out by the lights and just wasn't prepared. So Eric put him on the trailer in the first round. The highlight for me of the first round was Stevie Fast putting Murden over Shane Ellington on the trailer in round one. But congrats to Sean of Murden Over fame. I think he did reasonably well. In round two, we were treated to a 000 light from Spencer Hyde, taking on a strong win against Lyle Barnett. So that was
the trash talking.
Oh yeah, it's been on, hasn't it? It has been on. And Stevie Fast had an easy ride into round three.
Spencer is engaged or married to
Courtney Enders.
Yeah, who's on the podcast with Lyle Barnett and Stevie Fast.
Correct.
Oh,
yes.
So
right.
he would have been just sending
We'll have to tune
it home.
into that
Yeah.
next episode then.
So yeah, Stevie had an easy ride in round three when his opponent went red. And in round three also we had our favourite pair. It was Spencer Hyde.
I think for Stevie Jackson's, he actually would have had the win anyway, regardless of if his opponent had a 000 light.
Yeah.
He took the win anyway. He had quicker mile per hour on ET.
Yeah. So the semi was Steve Jackson taking on, I call him the pole killer now, Eric Gustafson. But Stevie's reaction time was pretty good. And in the final, it was Steve Jackson taking on Derek Menholt. Really sad to see Derek. That's that red Corvette, late model Corvette. He went red by 0.006. And if he hadn't gone red, that would have been one hell of a race. Because Derek ran a 3:57 and Stevie went 56 with Stevie's 0.011 reaction time. So I'd love to have seen. It was just a shame he went red on that final. So it was great to see Stevie Fast win a big event. He's getting into semis and finals, but
he hasn't done that for a long time.
No, yeah. So it was great to see him have a win, and yeah, as I said, massive event. Looking forward to I think Lights Out's coming up next. Will be the next round of the Drag Illustrated Winter Series. So I'm looking forward to that coming up. That'll be coming up soon. I think in the next couple of weeks. I can't remember the exact date.
Fabulous. Well, it's still starting to pick up and happen again. I feel like it was only a month or so ago we were saying, oh, now everything's finishing up and what are we going to talk about? We're going to have to find some things. And now...
You know, we kind of didn't go in as deep as what we'd heard over the last few episodes because we wanted to make sure it was 100% true.
Yeah.
But there was plenty to talk about in the off-season this year.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to just say that I am not WA Drag Races One Voice. 100% not me. Don't know who it is.
Did someone insinuate it was you?
Yes, several people have. It's not me. I don't Facebook. People that are close in my circle know that the only reason I know any of this stuff is because people send me screenshots of it. So it's not me. I don't think it's Angelo. I don't think it is. I haven't got anyone verifying that it is, so I don't think it is. And plus, he would have to change profiles to be able to comment. You know what I mean? It's very easy to slip up when you do things like that because I have caught out people in the past doing that. So the rumours, the innuendos, etc. I had a very lengthy conversation with Morris Allen from the IHRA today. Now, I just want to be open about this. You two know that, you know, I don't lie to people. I tell people exactly how I feel. I don't mislead people. I'm not going to tell you that I like you when I don't. I'm going to tell you I don't like you. You know, it's as simple as that. But I've always had a bit of a thing for Morris Allen because I have the utmost respect for anyone that races a motorcycle. They are, you know, when you're going fast and there is nothing around you, suddenly you start to realise how dangerous what those guys do. And I've always been a fan of his, you know. Now, obviously, I'm a big ANDRA supporter. Mm-hmm. But if you go right back to when we started this, when the IHRA came to town, I was pretty clear that I would support it if it was a true International Hot Rod Association, not just a name that was thrown on something to, say, oh, we're a governing body, right?
Yeah.
And Morris is my witness. I made that clear to him today when I spoke to him. I said, I'm not going to lie to you, because obviously you're going to check us out. You're going to listen to old episodes. You're going to want to know about us before you come on the show and say anything. But that's always been my view. I've always felt that if it was the USA and we have the USA rules and, there is a prospect of really turning it into an international like Formula One, then I'm going to support that because I'm a big believer that a high tide lifts all boats.
Yeah.
Right? So we had a really, really long conversation, and I can talk about what I can talk about. I can't talk about stuff that I can't talk about. He's got press releases coming out. I've asked for us to be put on the press release email, etc. I put out. I knew that you would be on board with this, so I didn't bother getting clearance from you. But I've given him an open invitation whenever he wants to come onto the show. Now we spoke about this in the last episode.
Yep,
briefly. So yes, 100%. The trip did happen.
So
Darryl Cuttell, or how did we decide it was pronounced?
Cuttell?
Cuttell? Yeah. All right, we're on board with that. Okay.
So just before you get started, Simon, so there's been a Facebook page created, Drag Racing WA, One Voice. A lot of people have been asking questions, posting some statements. It's kind of circulating a bit of this is what I've heard, this is what I've heard. And so the talk has been had about...
Yeah, so look, I don't want to speculate on any of the stuff that's on there. I just want to focus on this. So the trip did happen as we said it was going to. He did charter a jet, cost him $1.5 million. For those of you that don't know who this guy is, he owns a big construction company, from my understanding. He has been building data centers for Elon Musk, doing work for SpaceX and Amazon warehouses. He's very rich. He's passionate about drag racing. He loves pro modifieds. He loves doored cars. And he purchased the IHRA from Larry Jeffers, I believe it was. Yep. And has subsequently bought a bunch of tracks, including Santa Pod. He's done a deal.
Oh, right.
Yes, he owns Santa Pod
I didn't know
now.
that.
Yeah.
Has that one been released?
I don't know, but
Yeah,
it's locked in. We speculated a lot in the early days about what was going on.
Yeah.
Because,
the huge prize money.
Yeah,
There
there was a track
that were purchased that then.
Yeah. There was some reversals and stuff, but this is all ploughing ahead. He sounds like a visionary guy. He had several meetings when he was here in Western Australia, so he did come to WA. Now, Morris Allen has been working with Darryl, consulting for the last 6 months. So this isn't something that...
It's not something new.
No, right? This has been happening in the background. Morris didn't want to really give up the IHRA, but he felt as though it was the right move for drag racing in Australia. Darryl believes in bringing everyone together here on one platform. Now, obviously, when you say that out aloud, that also means that ANDRA, is probably going to disappear, which I'm very sad about that. I've been a staunch supporter of ANDRA, but I've also felt that recently the direction that it seems to be taking is a little bit, when you have someone that's not not really a drag racer, or someone that's grown up around it or is passionate about it, running it, I don't understand how that's going to work, because it is a unique sport. Drag racing is a very unique sport. So we haven't seen much happen with ANDRA other than infighting and people that are really working hard, like Murray O'Connor, not really getting the support that they require to be able to move forward. It's really been messy. So
it's just hard when we as racers are spending so much to race, to travel. It's hard making decisions when you can't vision any growth or trajectory from
Yeah.
your governing body.
It's hard to invest.
Yeah, yeah.
And look, I'm in that boat because, you know, I've got a young family, I'm an old man, and, you know, my wife and I would rather go on holidays and stuff. And, you know, when you're talking about, you know, it's even a fast sportsman car is $100,000 a year proposition to run. So you either got to do what you do and bust your hump and get sponsorship money, or you've got to have $100,000 disposable income, which means your family's going to miss out on holidays and so on and so forth. And this is the problem. Our sport has always been funded by the racers. It's not like since Winfield left, it's not like we've had someone that's putting up the money, you know, and that's what you need. And eventually people like me go, oh, you know what, maybe I just sell everything and, you know, buy a boat. You know what I mean? It's you know. So I have always said, and it's on record, you know, in the podcast, Facebook posts, if it was a true IHRA, then I would support it, because that is a big thing for our sport, to have an international series.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was why Morris made that decision, because he felt that Darryl was really doing something, and we've seen
the growth.
Yeah, and we've seen what he's done in America already.
And the investment.
Yeah. Investment is phenomenal.
Investment, you know, into the future of racing.
So they are actively looking at working with tracks in Australia. Okay, you know, he's been buying a lot of tracks overseas. You know, the assumption, and we did hear rumours during the Robin Judd days that he brought some Arabs over here to buy the motorplex. So, you know, is he looking at the motorplex? Well, I couldn't get a concise answer. I did say, well, I would probably buy one over east, you know, considering Heathcote, the redevelopment and everything. You know, it's like I said.
I don't know how permanent my homing of my altered is on the East Coast for.
Look,
it's gonna have to come home at some point.
I said this before we started recording. Would you honestly have a Formula One race in Perth? You know, with you know, these people that are building this track around Burswood. I mean, they're not people you want involved in motor racing. You know what I mean?
But it's
they're
kind
morons.
Of like, what are you travelling to the other states for? You travel for where your interests are.
Yeah, but
Trent goes to Melbourne not because of the arts and culture and music. He goes to Melbourne because of the footy. I go to Melbourne because of the snowfields. You know.
Yeah, I know.
Do I go to Queensland? No, unless it's the winters. I've done the water slides, whatever.
As you reported earlier, they've locked in Willowbank 10-year contract there with sponsorship money in the mix. They've locked in Darwin.
Darwin, yes.
Yeah, they've locked that in, and they're going to look
for some events. It was a bit unclear whether
I think they've got the sanctioning. I'm pretty sure that Morris said that they have locked in the sanctioning there. But anyway, nonetheless, let me finish with this, because I'm getting to the meat and potato side of it here, right? So they're actively looking at working with tracks in Australia, right? There was a meeting with Venues West. Okay, absolutely 100% there was a meeting. Right, now this is where the speculation from what was the
Facebook.
Yeah, what was the
drag races?
WA drag races, One Voice, right? There was speculation on there reported that they rocked up at the track and the gate was locked. Morris Allen confirmed 100% that the gate was locked, and there was some shady looking signs saying something like, you know, the private track hire, drone testing, or something, I don't know, something like that.
But
there was
that could be legitimate as well.
There was drone testing on that day.
So,
yep. Apparently at the far end of the track, right?
But if the track was hired on a dry hire, then that's standard.
So did Venues West tell them to come?
Venues West said, "Go have a look at the track, see what you reckon."
Okay.
Right. Okay. So there was also some speculation about phone calls made to staff and so on and so forth. He verified all of that, right? You know, I'm not going to name drop.
No,
you know, but yeah, And if he does come on the show, we can ask him if he wants to talk about it. But anyway,
But staff weren't.
All right. So this is the you've got a billionaire, not a millionaire, a billionaire, and it's real. It's American money. It's not Australian pesos. Yeah, right. And he flies here to meet with you to talk about. Well, let's work something out here. Maybe I scratch your back, you scratch mine. He's not going to be worried about a lock gate, yeah. So he just went and hired a helicopter and flew over. Now, I don't know if that affected the drone testing. I don't know how that works there.
Well, they still had the helipad clearing in the middle of the speedway.
That's right.
Anyway, so now this guy is a bit of a visionary because he's flying over and he's gone, well, that area over there, which is our overflow parking, he's gone, well, I would put a drift track there because that's perfect for a drift track and, we need to bitumise this and we need, so he's definitely a visionary.
Probably the best way to see it, really.
Yeah, well, actually, you're right. Now, all I can say, and this is where I'm going to finish off on this, is that there are some big announcements coming up. I've asked for us, like I said, to be on the press release stuff and recognised by them. But, honestly, I think these guys have got the best interest of the sport. I could be wrong. I could be getting, led along. But the prize money, everything is just unbelievable for Australia. It's good for America. It's good prize money. So yeah, that's where that is. Now, we had a quick discussion about the rules and, they want to run their rules. So I downloaded their rules.
Okay.
I was wondering what that was for.
Yeah,
I saw that before.
So I'm interested
like
in
pretty meaty
pro-modified.
Pretty meaty stack of paper there.
So the door slammers here are D rotor, which is smaller. It's 206 millimeter diameter rotor. That's why it's a D206. And we run 108% overdrive, right? So they're modifying, they're adding a new, because they've got multiple combinations here. So we can have big block roots, non-lock-up, big block roots lock-up, big block centrifugal non-lock-up, big block centrifugal lock-up, big block screw non-lock-up, big block screw lock-up, and it goes on. You've got your twin turbo, big block lock-up or non-lock-up, small block turbo.
Right.
Different size turbos. There's single turbo on the small blocks. You've got rules for 122 mil turbo, rules for 131. And then you've got weight addition or subtraction. And then you've got your nitrous combos. So really, really thorough rules. So the thing that I was curious about is where does it leave our current cars?
Yeah.
Right? Because if you are going to put on this big 660 event, big prize money, 40 grand US is the number that's getting thrown around, which is like, what's that, 5 million Australian? something, it's more than 40 grand. Where are we going to end up weight, and how are guys like Johnny Ricker, the turbo guys that are running pro mod at the moment, where are they going to, Carl Cox, all that, where are they going to end up, right?
Are they still going to be competitive?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so your typical 5-speed lock-up screw-blown deal with a D rotor, right? The rumour is, and I couldn't get it confirmed because I think they're still working on the maths, 115% over, right? So that is another 7% over the current setup, right? Which is going to make a little bit more power, okay? And the base weight for a screw-blown with lock-up is 2685 pounds, right? So our minimum weight is 27, but if you run a 521, you're around 2730 something, right? They don't distinguish on the size of the motor, you'll notice, in these rules. It's big block.
Yeah,
that was my next question.
Yeah, well then you don't need to check it.
Okay.
You look at it and go, yeah, it's a big block.
So if you see Johnny Rickers and say, is he a good one to draw the comparison?
Hang on, let's just look at door slammer. Let's just we're getting there. Just let me get there, right? So add additional 25 pounds for transmissions with 4 or more forward gears. Okay? So a non-nostalgia body, so nostalgia body gets £25 deduction. Now, I'd have to check the year cutoff, but I think most of our stuff is not nostalgia. I think like a 57.
They get a deduction.
They get a deduction, yeah. That's how they do it.
Wouldn't they be heavier, though?
No, because they're less aerodynamic.
Yeah, their shape. Their shape doesn't.
Like a 57.
Sorry, I was thinking they get a larger weight allowance.
So if we go with that base weight with lockup, we're 2685, and then we throw another 25, so we're going to be 2710, right? So we're going to have a little tiny bit more overdrive, right? And about the same weight, right? So if we look at Ricker's car, so he has to go from 125 or 127 over. He has to go down to 92 over, which is a massive drop in boost. And he's got a 3-speed lockup, so it'd be 2685. So according to, I don't have official numbers on his car, what it weighs, but I would say from what I've heard from guys that have been there and, watched it roll over, he's probably going to have to put a little bit of weight in, right?
Yeah.
So that the whinging and carrying on that we witnessed, not from Johnny, but from people, speaking for him, which you shouldn't do that. It's going to be slower than what it is now. It's now let's take a turbo car, right? Because there are another bunch of guys that have been, we want to run pro mod. So twin turbo. Got to have 88s. Not allowed to go bigger than 88s.
Yep.
Right? I didn't see a boost limit. I looked through the rules. Guys that I spoke to preparing for this, they said on the 8th mile, it's not really that much of a difference because of how the turbo cars react.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? It's more of the quarter mile is more. That's why the NHRA has a
top end is where they
boost limit. Yeah. So they're non-lockup 2635. Lockup, 2685. So most of those guys have got a turbo 400 with a lockup. They're going to be around there. So I kind of expect that the cars are around 2,400 pound now, the super light ones. They're going to put some on. But say like Carl Cox's, I don't think his performance is going to change much. I think he's going to be in about the same boat. So who's the big winners out of this rule set? Me and Shane Catalano. Because 3-speed non-lockup, we can get our weight down to 2635, right? Which is a lot lighter than we have to weigh now. It's like 100 pounds lighter for me. So I like these rules. They're good rules.
That is a lot to take on. And
well, the point is that
you're trying to see which door slammers are then going to fit into this pro mod rules.
Mate,
but then what pro mod cars we have competing for IHRA and ANDRA at the moment, which ones can come?
You put 40 grand US up, right? And guys will build. They will build cars.
Build it and they will come.
Yeah, they will build cars for it. No, it's more that since the 5-speed and the lockup, I've been saying this isn't a fair set of rules now. You're forcing everyone to go down that road. Same with the 20-inch wide rims.
Yeah.
Right? It's a lot of money now. It's like 10 grand for a pair of rims, right? The 5-speed, to do the upgrade to the diff and the 5-speed and the spares and the converter drive and blah, 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 blah. It's 150 grand. It's not the sort of money when you're racing for 4 grand. Yeah. That you can convince your wife, yeah, this is a good investment. You know what I mean? Like you need to have disposable income beyond your wildest dreams or sponsors, which is hard to sell our sport to sponsors because and Morris agreed with me.
Yeah. They
still think there were a bunch of bogans with a packet of Winnie Blues rolled up on her sleeve. They don't understand how technical this sport is. They don't understand how, it's full on. It's a matter of showing them and convincing them. But I've been complaining about this for a long time, saying, you need a weight break for the 3-speed non-lockup cars so that they stay competitive. It's great that you guys want to run the 5-speed and the lockup converters and blah, blah, blah. That's great. But, you've just it's like, suddenly saying, oh, you're allowed to run this blower. And everyone's going to have a big whinge going, well, hang on a minute. We've got our money tied up in these ones.
Yeah, for sure. And then who's going to buy them if they're not going to?
Yeah, exactly. If they're not competitive anymore. Yeah. Which is why you can buy a Lenco now for less than a Turbo 400, which makes no sense to me at all.
We'll see them down in Supercharged Outlaws now that the speed limit's been dropped.
So this is a good rule set. And we just covered the US Nationals, yeah? Mm-hmm. Right, so we had I think 7 different combinations in those 32 car field.
In that 400s or within a
separated 32
really
cars
cool.
Separated.
There was nitrous,
root,
screw,
centrifugal, turbo. Yeah. There was different weight breaks for different overdrives, right? We don't have that here. And I'm a big supporter. You guys have heard me say, well, you can't build a car and then expect everyone to change the rules to suit that.
Suit it, yeah.
But you need consistency in rules too. You can't. If you have a class and those rules don't change, you'll see that class develop, if it's a good class. Door Slammer was the top of for years, till Top Fuel, till you had all these billionaires pumping money into Top Fuel and now Nitro Funny Car, Door Slammer was it. And, when I was racing, it was 22 cars to try and qualify for 8 spots.
Yeah.
So the loosening of the rules, the 5-speed, the auto shift, the lockups, it's made it where unless you're going to go and spend, to build a new car now, I think you'd be looking at about a $1.5 million investment. And that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
If you were racing for $100,000, you might go, wow,
Yeah.
But you're racing for $4,000.
Yeah. And then the difficulties of trying to...
You still got to get it to the track. You still got to run it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it costs now. When I was racing, it was about $10,000 to get your crew and your car to the track. It's probably 20 now. Interstate flights, accommodation, food.
Yeah.
It's probably about 20 now, right? So you're racing for $4,000, costs you 20 to get there, and then you got to run the car and you're going to put laps on the car. So I'm really excited about this part of it.
Yeah.
The rules are good rules. They're now whether what's going to happen now are the pro mod guys going to be cool with this? The ones over east, are they going to say, "Oh, hang on, want us to weigh a certain amount?"
Because I'm getting a little bit lost with Pro Mod, and it's not a class that I've gone heavily into. I just think because we haven't had the cars here in WA, trying to just catch a glimpse of it at certain events that are televised and everything.
So
I thought
theirs is a fixed index. So
right. And for NDRC, it was 580.
80, yeah.
Yeah.
But then ANDRA's a different number because they're going into the 70s. In Sydney.
I think that
and
was...
And I said to Trent, aren't they fixed at 580s? And he said, that's IHRA. And I was like, oh, what's ANDRA then?
Yeah.
So is this rule set coming with another fixed index?
No,
because that's not how it is.
This is proper.
Up, and this is... But you're comfortable with 660?
Yeah. I just want a fair set of rules because...
And you're okay with 660?
Yeah.
8th mile.
8th mile.
Whatever. Work on a short time.
I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't.
Get that 0.860 foot.
No, I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't. I'm just asking. That's an honest question.
Why do you think that they're doing 8th mile?
Oh, that I can tell you. I have spoken to a bunch of racers and they all reckon it's too dangerous. The turbo cars, if you let this rule set go and run the quarter, you're going to see 280, 290 mile an hour turbo cars.
Yeah, right.
NHRA's got a boost limit.
Yeah.
So these guys don't. And we've seen how fast has the Camaro gone.
Yeah, it was like a ridiculous... Well, if you looked at his qualifying, he was like 13, 14 mile an hour quicker than anyone else.
And he would have been limited.
Anyone else.
He would have been limited under that rule set.
We're talking 8th mile there too.
Yeah.
And he was 14... I'll tell you exactly.
That car, when he ran those quarter miles, so what did he end up going? 5.11?
Yeah,
something like that?
Yeah.
He was lifting early,
Yeah, I
right?
remember you saying when the footage came out.
Yeah, so he got told, I can't remember which racer it was, but they said to him, "Hey, just take it easy because we don't know what that body's going to do at that speed."
Yeah.
And when they lifted the front off, there were 2 rub marks and it had blistered the paint where the body was pushing down on the front tyres.
Yeah, right.
So if he had continued...
And those tyres popped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they just make so much power. I mean, a screw-blown deal, that they'll make, like on our limited overdrive, they'll make 3,000, 3,500 maybe if the air's like mine shaft conditions. But those things will make 6,000-7,000 horsepower. You know what I mean? It is an astronomical amount of power.
Sorry, I stand corrected. He went 224 mile an hour.
On the 8th.
Yeah, Jimmy Taylor. But Sean Ellington, Murder Nova, went 222 as well.
On the 8th.
Yep.
It's just a lot of horsepower.
Yeah.
They make so much power.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't realise Murder Nova's was so high as well. But yeah, 224 on 8th mile.
And like I said, they would have been running their rule set. So that car wouldn't have been as uncorked as it is.
Yeah.
When he
When he broke the record.
So there's a big like ET mile per hour difference into what our cars have been running because to match what they're limited to with the index.
Blower cars are generally quicker in the the first half of the track, so they would call it to 330, and the turbo cars make it up in the back half. The rules over here, this is why I wasn't very supportive of the whole IHRA concept because, I discussed this with Morris. I said at the end of the day, this all started because some promoters didn't want to pay for the TV. They didn't want to pay the royalty for using our sport, right? Which I think's unfair. I think if you're using our sport, if you're profiting from our sport, then you should give some money back. AFL gets paid, V8 supercars get paid, everyone gets paid. Drag racing doesn't.
Yeah.
Right? And that's how it all kicked off. That's, the premise of Thunder 400, the premise of and that was under Mal Bully, know. Now, Morris said to me, "Oh, come on, man, that's a long time ago." Yeah, well, I don't forget. Right?
Yeah, and I mean, we still have the repercussions of it affecting our sport. So
Absolutely we do. Now, had Bully not have quit or been forced not to quit, had he got more support, had the people that were out there talking about it not chickened out, I believed back then that the fix was that we all joined a union, a registered union, and we striked.
Yep.
That's what I believe was the fix, and we took that strike to every racetrack until we got rid of them and got back on track. The promoters have got to make money. I'm not arguing with that, right? But the racers have got to get something out of it too, or else it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
You think about the structure of drag racing right now. Imagine, I worked in film and television. Imagine the actors having to chip in to put on the show. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. Like, no actor's going to do that.
Yeah, it's just hard to rely solely on people's love and passion for the sport because, like you said, you've got young kids. I've got my young kids. The amount that...
But it's the level that we're at now. The cars that I raced and the older people that I looked up to raced, they were piles of rubbish that was slapped together for $15. Now you're looking at a minimum of a 30 grand, to build a super street car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
30 grand.
Oh, that's doing it all yourself.
I don't think you get anything for 30 grand.
Well, I think you could do it for 30, but it's a lot of money, right? You start moving into the faster cars, and you're in the 100, the 200, and eventually end up in the millions of dollars. And you take a fuel car. When I looked at running fuel, when I had the access to the sponsors and things were going well, we went down to the last cent, and we were looking at $14,000 a run, right? I think now you're probably looking at $30,000 a run. So you're going to put down, 6 runs, 30 grand a run to get 60K. It's not viable. It's just not viable.
Yeah.
And you could say, well, if you can't afford it, don't do it. It's fine. But, eventually no one's going to do it then. You know what I mean? Whereas if you've got, I mean, the sport is an incredible sport, and I don't know why, even AI doesn't know why it's not the most popular sport in terms of everything, because attention spans are getting shorter.
Yeah.
Right? So you want a sport that's bang, 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 and that's what drag racing is. So, you know, I don't know. I hope that I know where you're trying to go with the 1320 versus the 660, but you know what? I'll take whatever. I mean, right now
I'm not saying one's better than the other. That's not.
I wasn't sure whether it was
question.
whether it was to keep it, you know, universal throughout the tracks if they're looking at Darwin. And, you know, it was one of the things that we commented on with their announcement that all of their series and rounds are going to be 8th mile in America. And we were saying, well, that keeps it concise throughout their different racetracks in different states and everything like that. I wasn't sure whether that was the same reasonings to decide on it here, or is it to keep the numbers kind of balanced so then they can be recognised and seen between each international place?
I think you've got access to more tracks straight away if you make it 660.
Yeah.
Oh,
So is there with this because
did you
have
catch that?
Yeah. If some door slammers, pro mods, if they're having to do the alterations to make their cars fit these new rulings to make themselves competitive, when's this 660 happening?
This is all, you know, to be announced.
To be announced.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll sit tight, and
But
we will.
I'm under the impression that they've got rounds already booked.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, they're going to finalise the rule set. Look, when I spoke to him, he sounded exhausted.
Yeah.
It would have been a pretty intense
I
week.
mean, that was just the weekend itself in Queensland and trying to.
Yeah, but even just, you know.
Come in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was good that he was able to give you some time.
Yeah, no, look, you know, I was honest with him straight up, that, you know, how I felt, how it all went down, just like I said then, the whole Mel bully, the track's not wanting to pay for the TV, blah, blah, blah. You know, and I said to him, I'm going to be honest straight, because that's who I am. That's how, I'm not going to, you know, suck up to you and then, you know, backstab you. I'm going to be honest with you. But in the same manner, to our audience, to you two, I will support this, because right now, I think this is the best deal going.
I think, you know, I will support anything that gives us a future for drag racing and some clarity, transparency, and a future to know that what we are sacrificing and what we are investing is going to be something that we can continue on with, because I already stopped for 7 years and it will be really hard to have a long break again. I'm back now, and I planned on staying here for until at least, what have I got? It's 10 years until Luna kicks me out. So
You and me both on that one. Well, we got through about, I don't know, half of that.
yes.
No, that's all right. We can carry on another next episode.
You said that last episode.
We've always got some good stuff to talk about, so I'd rather put that in front.
We've been heavy with our drag racing news, which it's been really nice to
especially tonight. That's pretty big news.
Yeah.
So thank you, Simon, for that, reaching out to.
Look, I hope Morris will come on the show. You know, he's a very easy to talk to guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll just have to wait.
That'll be great.
Yeah. Yeah. My fear is that you know, Darryl has an accident or something. You know what I mean? You finally get someone that's, you know, just got the money and a visionary and just gets things done. You know.
Yeah. Not too many of those guys come along in life, eh?
Not in drag racing,
drag
no.
racing,
Not in
yeah.
drag racing. They seem to end up buying yachts and,
Yeah.
you know, think about the Sydney to Hobart. Those yachts are worth like $500 million.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, or Formula One. They spend $500 million every season.
Yeah. But he's chosen
You know,
us.
we
He's
just want a
chosen
few
us.
crumbs. Which
We don't need all of
No,
it. We
but
don't need all-
he did choose us.
You'll still
and
be
that's
a billionaire
yeah.
after you invest in
Yeah.
our sport.
Exactly.
Well, good news to come, and we'll sit tight and wait for that announcement from IHRA. But for now, we are all out of time. So thanks very much, guys. It's been a really great episode.
Any events coming up?
We've got the Northern Steel Car Show coming up on the 22nd of March. That's a live event.
We'll have a podcast.
From Perry Lakes.
We'll have plenty before that one. Yep.
We'll be recording again in 2 weeks' time.
Yep.
And we'll have some plenty of news from supercars, NASCAR.
Motorplex, the Barbagallo night that's coming up.
Oh, yeah, that's always awesome.
Yeah, I'm hoping to be down there on the Saturday.
So that's what we need. We need a Barbagallo.
We need a Barbagallo, yeah.
We need a Barbagallo.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks very much, guys, and we'll speak to you again in 2 weeks' time.
Thanks Michelle. Thanks, Simon.
See yous.